16 hours later. Oh, wow. Now we got dogs barking in the background. Okay, guys. So I am back. We had last night, 16 hours ago, where I was going through 10 things that you really need to consider. It's so your man is on his way to prison. You found out that he's going to have to do time. So these are 10 things that I have contemplated. I've been a prison wife for 20 years, so I'm going back thinking, like, what would I have wished somebody had told me to think about, because doing time is not the easiest thing to do. So I started I was on number 3 when I had some technical difficulties last night. Like, that phone just shut off. With my devices, I've upgraded a little bit, but like I got a better phone and stuff like that, but I still haven't got the camera for YouTube. So we're slowly upgrading. But then if you're not making the progress you want to, then it's like, what's the point of all the tools? So that is still on, it's gonna happen, but it's just not right now. So we're working off this phone, and this phone does what it wants to. It cuts off when it's ready to cut off. So we stopped at number 3. So back to the 10 things that I wish that I'm telling you, that as a new prison wife, or maybe you're already on this journey, but you're new to the sentence. Maybe you're 3 years in or so. Please consider these things. It is hot. I wanted the window down, but then the dog started barking. But I'm hot. This Florida is hot. Okay. So please, I'm sorry if the background noise is distracting. I am so sorry for that. But I'm not going to take this into Premiere Pro and try to edit the audio. So hopefully it is not too bad. If it's that bad, I'll just re-record the video in the future. So I'm going to, if you want to know numbers 1 and 2, you have to check the description box and watch part 1. It's not that long. It's only about 7 minutes, I believe, really. Just check that out first and then come back to this video. Okay, so we were on number 3, which my orders are a little bit different now. So just a moment. Sorry guys, I had to really fix my numbering. I had it kind of off because I did realize that the other numbers are in the other video in the description box. Okay, so we're picking up at number 3. Okay, can you afford this journey? I got a little bit into that point already, as far as the visitations not around the corner. It is expensive. Like, can you afford to be a prison wife? The phone calls. Now, that is the one thing that I think I did not touch on in the last video. The phone calls. Being a prison wife, you're going to want to stay in communication with your husband. Like, what is going to be a marriage like if you're not communicating whatsoever? So you're going to want to talk on the phone. And the phone calls are really expensive. It's about $5 for a 30-minute call, which is a lot cheaper than it used to be when Marchello went up that road. I remember the phone calls back then went by your distance, and it was a 15-minute phone call for $5 and something. So at that rate, I mean, I think when I first got the phone installed, I basically, you're finally talking to your man and you want to ride out on that phone, and them 15 minutes, that they really feel like 15 seconds. If you can relate, girl, give me a heart emoji, any color you feeling today, because those 15 minutes, you like, is that really 15 minutes? When that girl get on there talking about you have 1 minute left, which I do got a song about that. It's in the description box about that. 15 minutes is just not that long when you got a million words to say. Please check that video out. I am rapping my little heart out for you guys. But yes, it is not that long, because you want to get on and ride out with your husband. Like, you got to update him with what's going on with the kids, how they doing, How's everybody else doing? How you doing? Like, you got to chop it up. Or if it's something very important, you got to talk about that for the first half of the conversation. So it's like you don't get a lot of time, and you're like, please call back, please call back. But calling back, we're adding up. We stacking them banks up. And we counting by fives. 1 call, 5. 2 calls, 10. So you're going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You can easily pay $40 a day. Like, that's if you're really trying to be booed up and stuff. So can you afford this? Okay, so now we're going to go into point number 4. How is your family going to overcome the financial loss and the stress stemming from it? Okay, so the financial loss, your husband is now going to prison. If your husband was worth being with, most likely he was helping you. Like, if you're with him, I'm sure, girl, you're a good judge of character. So if you are with him, I'm sure he was helping you and helping out with the family. So now you are going to lose that. Like, how are you going to overcome? Like, how are you gonna what is that word? Compensate. How are you gonna compensate financially for your husband being gone? Well, for myself and for a lot of other prison wives, that means getting a second job, a part-time job, or doing something on the side. Me, I'm a crafter, so I always tried to sell my artwork, which ain't never worked like it was supposed to in my mind. What can you do? I'm a cosmetologist. I used to try to do hair on the side and do this and do that. What can you do to get up that extra money to supplement? He's gone now. Like, so if it was 2 that were working together to take care of the household, now you're down to 1 income, 1 everything. And for me, it became really difficult, when Marchello finally left. Hello. When Marchello finally left, it became super difficult because he was the one that was paying for her daycare. Like, people most time look at people that are incarcerated as though they were just deadbeats. They're no good for society. No, Marchello would have been very much a viable part of his family, and he is kind of, him being gone is why his family went through the mud, was drugged through the mud. He was paying for doctor visits. He was paying for, because I didn't qualify for Medicaid assistance and stuff. I didn't have full time, so I couldn't get insurance, which meant my child didn't have insurance, which meant so much. I couldn't afford daycare anymore because, as a single mother, daycare is outlandish, and not that they're going to be taking care of your kid the best that you would take care of them. Like, it's hard to find a good daycare, and even the worst daycares are expensive to where you can barely afford it. So for me, I'm like, to pay that much for daycare, I might as well just go ahead and work overnight and watch my child during the day. Because even with family members, some of them were not watching my child the way I would watch my child. And no, baby, my child comes first, and I'm not going to leave her in neglectful hands or hands that are not tending to her the way her mother would. So that made me like, no, Kitty, you got to find an overnight job. And that led into a downward spiral. If I can find any videos related to that, I'll link them down in the description. But I think I've rambled on about that. But yeah, that's led me into depression. That led me into never sleeping, barely making it. I think I do have one. It has the girl that is from that movie, Mr. Deeds. Oh my God, that character was me. The lady that was like in the van with her daughter. Oh my goodness. So I do have a video that I'll link in the description box about that. Like, it is team way too much. Once that second person is gone, like, it is all shifted to you. And you're not 2 people, you're 1. But now you're trying to play the role of 2 people. How can you withstand that? Are you going to be able to withstand that? So now we're going to move on to number 5. Okay. If there are kids involved, how are you going to tell them? Like, how in the world are you going to tell them that, look, daddy's not going to be here for much longer? Like, okay, so my child was not even walking or talking. She was just barely crawling. No, okay, so when he first went to jail and was arrested, my baby was only 2 months old. She was a hand baby. But you know the story that he got out on bond or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So when he was about to go to trial, she was about 9 months old at that point. So she wasn't talking, but she knew him and she was very fond of him. She would choose him over me, like, for real. They were close. They had that close bond, and they still do have that same bond, even through this 20-year prison sentence. Check that box. I got a lot of good stuff for you down there, because I got something that pertains to that, but I don't want to keep stopping the video to, you know, plug or whatever. So just check the description box for several little videos that might interest or pique your interest or whatever. But it really affected her. But if she were older, well, okay, I did have to break something to her, because the thing was, by her being younger, she didn't know what was going on, and she's still seeing him. I was still getting, like, to visitation as much as I can, which became maybe once a month. I rarely went more than a month without going to see him. So, which even a month was a big, like, I would spend $300 to $400 just for that 1 month, that one time visit for that month. So she still was seeing him and doing visits. She'd fall asleep in his little arms, and it's like I tried to make sure she was sleep before visitation ended, because the terror of when you had to see her part with him, like when she was awake, that was too much to bear. That is so heartbreaking, and it's heartbreaking to think back on those memories, because right now they're not at the top of my head because I've been through that like long ago. But if you're going through that, I know how hard that is. It hurts. It hurts. And it hurts to see your child hurt, and it's nothing you can do about that child's hurt. You can't console that child's hurt. So later she started realizing that, you know, dad is not here. She referred to prison as dad's house. But then she started like, okay, so where's my dad? Like, why is he not here? That part is where I had to break it to her. And it's like, what do you tell the kids? What are you going to tell them? Like, and if they're older and he's been like in their life, living in their life for years upon years, and then now he's going to be gone. Like, can you imagine? Like, if you have any experiences like that, can you please share it with us? So possibly, you know, that I know there's got to be somebody else that relates, because the more that I am telling my stories, the more I'm seeing that there are so many others that feel the same exact way. Which I thank you guys for telling me that, because I no longer feel like just crazy or straight Looney Tune, like I like to say. Okay, so we're on number 6. Will you be able to maintain a prison wife life and your own life? Like, are you going to balance it? Like, can you balance it? Because prison wife life is a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to maintain. It's a lot. It's a lot, I'm telling you. But how do you go through the prison wife life and still maintain yourself? Like, I'm not prison wife X3 blah 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 blah. I'm Keita Dixon. You know, I'm a person. I'm a human. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I'm a artist. I'm entrepreneur. I'm a all kinds of stuff. I'm a musician. So I am not just a prison wife. How can I tend to those other hats that I wear and still balance this prison wife life. Like, I do have a video there, just check the box about that, balancing the two. Like, when crazy things are going on, like his you have to call the guards, or like one time they didn't want to cut on Marcello's car to eat, so he kept going down there standing in line, and he couldn't eat, and he called me almost crying, like, I just want to freaking eat. I've been in maximum for umpteen years during the shutdown, longer than he was supposed to. He was supposed to have been off of max, but he was still serving max time because there was no transferring of the incarcerated citizens. So I'm like, finally he gets out of there, and now they're refusing to cut his card on to eat, and they were just doing it just to be buttholes. Like usual, most things they do is just to be buttholes. We know that. That's this system. I don't know. It's like they get a little power and they just play with it and toy with it. It's like it's a game, it's an activity, it's a sport of theirs, you know, and not realizing you're really just toying with human lives and stuff. And it's kind of sick that you find that fun, but that they do. They find it fun in games. So finally, like, after every day trying to call, and you know, during lunchtime, they're in different time zones. Marcello's in a different time zone, so I'm trying to hurry up and take care of business before work, this and this and that. And I finally get to the person I need to speak to, and he's like, I'll cut it on when I feel like cutting it on. Huh? Like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, we got to play games over every issue. Like, every issue we got to play games. Like, can you balance the two? Because it's a lot of work on both sides, and you cannot let yourself go lacking and slacking to just always tend to prison wife life and him and this and that, because then you're living his life and not your own. Like, you have got to be able to balance the both. And baby, I ain't saying I did it the best all the time at all, because I've kind of in the process, I have lost myself of being a prison wife. Okay, so we are going to go into, where are we at? Okay. Can you afford, will you be able to? Yes, so we're on number 7. How realistic, let me say that again. How realistic is it to do this time with him? Look at his sentence. Like, this is coming from a woman that husband has 40 years. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't care if you think I look crazy, I'm pretty much sane, pretty much for the most part. But I literally looked at that 40-year prison sentence and was like, no, he's coming home. There's no way. As soon as somebody knows that he's wrongfully convicted, he's coming home. Like, they cannot keep him. Once I showed all the things that happened wrong in that trial, I sat through that trial and I seen them lying, and I seen them getting caught in lies. And once I show it, or once I get it on the news, or once I get enough money for that appeal, he's coming home. But I want to just interject. You have to really look at the true sentence. Never once did I look at and really analyze that, yes, Keita, it could be 40 years, 40, before he comes back home. Because I always thought that there was no way. I really thought his sentence would be overturned in less than 10 years. Like, but now we're on 20. Okay, so am I going to wait to 30? Like, if I wait to 40, girl, might as well wait on until if I wait to 30, I might as well wait on to 40. So with gain time, he'll do about 37 years. And I'm at the halfway mark, like, and I'm looking at my life. Half of my life is gone. I've missed so much of my life behind this, but baby, he is worth it. I love him to life, like, and I would not have done this with nobody else. So if your man is that one, like Marchello is my one, more power to you. But just know, what does the paper say? And analyze it. Now, I ain't telling you to believe it. You can misbelieve it like I did. But just in case it is so, are you able to do that time? And how much of the time can you do with him? Okay, so we're going to go to 8. Oh, it leads right into A. So what if all the legal red tape does not clear? Are you still willing to stay? So if all the legal options didn't work, you thought his appeal was going to come through, you thought that little 3.850 was going to come through, you thought that all types of Marchello have tried so many things over all these years, and he has some new motions that he's trying to do. He actually has newly discovered evidence, but the problem with that, it still costs $11,000 for a lawyer to represent him on newly discovered evidence. That's why I've tried to make a GoFundMe, but I can't raise anything. I've raised like $100 over it's almost been a year since I made that GoFundMe. So at this point, that's not even happening. I've made a petition. I've tried to get his story big through petitions. I literally seen a person in a group I'm in free their loved one through a freaking petition. Like, we've tried so much. But what if you're not able to overcome that red tape like me and my husband are? No matter what we do, like, I've met so many famous people. I have given Marchello's story along with my artwork straight to Al Sharpton's hands. Not his person, his hand. I can link that description if you think I'm lying. Link that picture in the description if you think I'm lying. And nothing. I have given it straight to Steve Harvey, to Tom Joyner, to what's the other one? Ricky Smiley. I have given Marchello Jackson's story of being wrongfully convicted, plus artwork that I have painted of these artists. Well, not artists, I'm sorry. Actors and musicians and stuff. So many. Too many to even name out to you. You got to watch that What is Project Reach the World video if you want to know just a handful of them, because it's still more than them that I have given Marchello's story to. And still, baby, that red tape is all across his case. Like, we haven't cracked anything. I got so much information. There's police misconduct in his case. There is fabrication in his case by the police. There is, they're charging him with weapons that were never recovered. They're non-existent weapons, but yet, let's just charge him with a weapon. That'll give him more time. Like, it's so much. You got people caught in lies. Let me tell you, they allowed the people, the initial police report where they write what happened. They wrote what happened. The so-called victims wrote what happened, and they allowed them to, once they found out the truth from Marchello, they allowed them to go back to their police reports and change it. I have never seen where you're able to go back and change your initial report. And when they were questioned during trial on why they changed it, they said, we were so shaken up. We meant this, but we wrote that. That slides in the court of law. Baby, yes, it does. You can lie all day long in the court of law, which makes no sense, but they allow it. So after all of that, fighting and tirelessly fighting, and red tape not coming down, like, can you still stay? Are you still willing to ride this out with him? Think about it, because we don't live in a fair society. So it's something you're just going to have to, think about. Okay, so which number are we on? How realistic is it? Okay, we're on number 8. No, we did number 8, so we're on number 9. Yes, I'm gonna try to get better about this. It would look a little better if I was editing, but baby, I'm tired of editing and nobody watching. Okay, is this sentence going to interfere, for my females, with your family goals? Yes. Like, not saying just females with family goals, but what I'm meaning is that biological clock. Baby, if you wanted kids, if this is happening before you had kids, if you're like me and you wanted more kids, when he actually, I'm going to tell you which I've never said this before, but when he first went off and was going through trial, I actually thought I was pregnant again. So I would have had 2 kids by him and not, it would have been way too crazy. But I kind of wish I had those 2 kids because I wanted another child so bad. Like, I didn't want just one child. I wanted a big family. And now, but through most of his sentence, I was like, oh, well, after 10 years, I'm 30. I could still have kids or whatever. And I got a little story I need to tell you separately about going to the gynecologist and, like, the questions that they ask and the answers you give. And they're like, girl, like, what? But that'll be a little later, in a different video. But I want more kids. And I was like, when it didn't happen at 30, I'm like, okay, people have kids up in their 30s and stuff like that. So I think I'm still good to go. We still gonna fight. We gonna fight hard. We gonna fight every day. And my husband gonna be home before I could still have kids at 35, 37 or whatever, before I turn 40. And I woke up one day and guess what? Your girl turned 40, and that was this year. And that is completely rocking my world because more and more I'm realizing that my dream to have more kids, I am going to have to let go. Because it's not just that I just want freaking kids. I want them with Marchello. So I'm not going to just go out there willy-nilly and find some man to, hey, give me some kids. Like, no, I want Marchello's kids. I want him to be my husband. I want to be a family with Marchello. So we're kind of running out of time for that. We're on crunch time. If it doesn't happen, like my whole first album was called Now or Never. So if it don't happen now, then it's never. So I really need this to happen now. That's why I've been so urgent. That's why I've been so, please guys, support me, watch my videos. Please help me break this case. Because to be honest, I really just want to move on with my life. I really do. And my life has been on hold for a long, long time. And I just really need your help. And I desperately would not ask for your help if I didn't need it. Because I am not that type of person. But you can help me get my husband home. And I beg that you would support me so that I can get my husband home. And if you have anything that you need support on, please drop it. Drop it in the description, in the comment section, so that we can support you. I can support you as much as I can. If you have a petition, link that, share it, or however you can do, or maybe at me or something on your petition, or maybe you can email it to me or something like that. Do something. I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Keita Dixon, KITA DIXON. I'm the only one in Orlando. So drop it there or something so that I can help you, because I know how it is to need help. And you feel like you're screaming to the top of your lungs, but nobody, they see you, they hear you, but they're not responding to you. So hard when I want my kids, like, for real. I want my family. Okay, but now I'm gonna have to let it go soon. I'm working on letting my dreams that I wanted go, like, one by one. They're not realistic anymore. The time frame has passed for them. Okay, so that was sad. So we're on number, actually that was 9, so we're on 10. Okay. Are you able to live a celibate? Yes, I said celibate. I probably spelled that wrong though. I'm celibate, but I can't spell it. Life. And what does each, yes. Okay, are you able to live a celibate life? And what does each other consider cheating? It's better to establish this before he goes up that road. Like, can you be without him? Because like when Marchello left, of course, yeah, girl, we was young. You already knew. You knew. Like, for real. And I got a story about that, girl. Oh my gosh. The night before he went, like, he was like, so you ain't gonna give me none? Like, before I could go to jail tomorrow. And I was like, no, you better figure it out. Girl, I should have gave him some, like, for real. Because now I'm like thinking, how your memory don't last that long. Your memory don't last that long, girl. So now I'm trying to remember, like, how was it 20 years ago? Can you be celibate? Like, or is this kind of goes back to the other video, like, are you going to be in an exclusive relationship, or is this going to be an open relationship? Establish those things before he goes off that road, and you'll avoid a lot more confrontation. Yes. And what do you consider cheating, and what does he consider cheating? Because it's not always just sex. Like, what does he consider? Like, does he consider you being friends with someone cheating? Does he consider you holding hands with someone cheating? Does he consider you hugging somebody? Like, what does he consider cheating? So it's best before someone see you out there in them streets, because the streets be talking. Them streets don't never be quiet. So somebody been to seen you and told him, like, gave him the tea. So it's best to figure out before what is considered cheating. What are our boundaries? How are we going to maintain this relationship? I'm sure he pretty much knows that you have needs. So what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? It's better to establish those things. Now, for my choice with Marchello, I am choosing to be celibate and be with Marchello when he comes home. So I'm going to be like a born again virgin girl. Yeah, for real. So that wraps this up. Let me show you my little rose I got little earlier. Isn't it cute? Oh, I gotta be iffy about showing you my little nails though, because they is not nice. But yeah, they have up the street the single mothers. I see it all the time, like right down the street from our house. They have up their signs and they're selling roses, like standing on the side of the road saying that, hey, I'm a single mother and I'm struggling. And baby, I know that struggle. That struggle is real. Single mothers, oh my gosh. I was forced into them shoes. I never thought that was going to be me. My husband, he wanted to stay through. You know, my daughter was not planned, but he didn't run off. He didn't, oh, that's not mine. He didn't do none of that. He dropped down and started smiling and rubbing my stomach, and he was so excited and happy. The day that I gave birth, it was like he pushed me to the side, and he got that little baby, and he was loving the baby and holding the baby. And it's like, man, I wish he could have actually helped raise this baby. But due to this wrongful conviction, unfortunately, he was not able to, and now she's a 20-year-old woman. So, all right, guys, sorry to end on a sour note, but, you know,